The FBI is moving in, ladies and gentlemen. We got big reports in connections to Ilhan Omar. Tim Walz, 69% chance that he gets charged with federal crime, a 69% chance from the betting markets. We got pissed off Americans, we're talking about millions, saying that they are not going to pay taxes this upcoming year. I am not one of them for tax reasons. I ain't trying to get raided by the FBI. But Americans are pissed off with all the fraud coming, with all the misspending happening in California. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars. Americans are pissed off about all of it. They are saying that there should be a tax strike. Don't pay no taxes. Look what they're doing with our money. Well, here's an update for you guys about what's happening in Minnesota. Arrest after arrest happening in connections. 80 Somalians getting arrested. We got all these updates. And then we have Tim Walz coming out and saying that white men should be arrested. And that's causing crazy havoc in all social medias all around the United States of America, where people are saying, well, if that's your response to this, that is just irresponsible, and it's actually worse than you could possibly imagine. So let's take a listen.
All right, this news just breaking moments ago. Fox News has obtained photos of one of the Somali illegal immigrants wrapped up in the Minnesota fraud scandal, posing with several high-profile Minnesota Democrats, including Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
Head of the FBI is turning his attention to fraud here in Minnesota. FBI Director Kash Patel on X today saying FBI personnel and resources have surged to Minnesota to, quote, dismantle large. FBI believes, quote, this is just the tip of a very large iceberg.
Well, here we go. So what is Tim Walz's response after getting absolutely obliterated by an independent journalist by the name of Nick Shirley? Now, again, all these arrests have been happening for the last month. But again, Nick Shirley goes and does the job that our congressmen and women are too busy insider trading to do, or too busy getting rich. And that's including Ilhan Omar, who, again, worth up to $30 million, which is just absolutely insane. And here you go. Like, so we have his response. His response is a little something like Tim Walz's response to the expose of widespread Somali fraud. And his answer is something like white people commit fraud too.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up. Because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that, out of a broader ring. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You would hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society. But no, I think this idea that the Somali community's to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. And that's, again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on. But
this is absolutely pathetic. And this is why the American people look around today and say, yeah, taxes, federal taxes, all these things that are happening. What is going on? Why is this the answer of a sitting governor to blame every other ethnic group, to say that every ethnic group does have its faults. Sure, I agree. I couldn't agree more. But what the hell does that have to do with this? Brother, you had an opportunity to know about this and stop it before it got to the billions. You're telling us what we already know. Sure, people have their faults. Sure, no problem. But you're too busy trying to protect the group that got caught in the middle of all of this. Instead of saying, you know what, I think I messed up. I need to resign. You know how many people are calling for this guy to resign? Let me actually show you guys this clip right here. I think it's a very important clip to let you know where America's at today.
He needs to resign. I would resign. If I was the governor and this happened on my watch at the amount of this money, I'd be ashamed. This happened on my watch. To argue and say, I've been working on this for years. Don't know if he found $111 million. Well, okay, well, he's just $8.9 billion short. Like this to me, complicit is a very polite word. But I will be racist. I will be Islamophobic because I'm a moneyist. I want to know where money is. So if that makes me racist, if that makes me Hitler Jr., because I want to know what people from what country are taking our taxpayer money, at this point, so what? We're all that anyways. So when they make those threats, and they were able to do that for such a long time, could you imagine if I got pulled over by the police for speeding and he went to give me a ticket? I'm like, sir, if you give me that ticket, you're racist. And he didn't give me that ticket. I wish I would have known about this a long time ago. But I wouldn't do that because I have integrity. This whole thing has nothing to do with Republican, Democrat. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. There's crooks on both sides. They've been running the show for a long time. But here you caught somebody. You got a whole group. You have a whole country using America to launder their money. It's basic, plain and simple. The only difference is they're not selling drugs and they're not going criminal things. They're literally walking right into the bank and getting our American money and doing what they want with it. So to make the argument about, well, he's this or that, no, he's just as guilty as the people involved because it happened on his watch, and the right thing to do is resign, period.
And calls for Ilhan Omar to resign are coming up as well because of her connections to a lot of the people. I think it was like 3 people she was connected to that were basically arrested and indicted. And again, more indictments to come to happen. This has been very ongoing, but because of what Nick Shirley exposed with the daycare centers and all the taxpayer money where no children are actually even being taken care of, a lot of people are saying, well, there's way more that you guys aren't even researching, that you guys need to step up to the plate and actually make it happen. We're here again is Tim Walz running away from the camera when he is pressed on this. Take a listen.
Governor Walz, what can you say about the latest on the Somali fraud that happened under your watch, sir?
Governor, have you been able to apologize yet to the people of Minnesota for allowing this Somali fraud to continue under your watch?
Of the people of Minnesota.
Is it time to apologize? How about the whistleblowers that you have allegedly retaliated against? Would you like to respond to the whistleblowers?
And right now, our neighbors are being demonized. Our neighbors are being terrorized. Our neighbors are being picked up off the streets. The antidote to that is positive actions to improve lives that go against what they're trying to do. So instead of demonizing our Somali community, we're going to do more to welcome more in and welcome people there.
Oh, snap. He's going to welcome more people from Somalia into Minnesota. Oh, yeah, this is where we're at. Hey, man, Americans are pissed off, man. Like, they do not. Like, I'm talking about, if you guys don't believe me when I say this, right? Because there's so much more that I have to show you. There's so many developments happening. This is such an ongoing story, right? 69% chance this dude gets arrested. There is so many moving pieces, but I think the biggest one is what I've mentioned earlier, right? It's not only do we have Representative Ilhan Omar's net worth starting at $45K in 2019 and being $30 million, right, on a congressional salary of just $174,000. That is pretty insane. And so now you have these movements by Americans. And I'm going to be honest. I ain't trying to go to jail. I'm just reporting the news here. I'm really letting Americans know what other Americans are saying about what, so here we go, right? So we got no more taxes, starve the fraud. You have people literally sharing this by the hundreds of thousands. You have Gary Cardone saying paying taxes has become a moral dilemma for me. He says, I cannot with a clear and good conscience continue being complicit in the murder of innocent, endless wars, feeding politicians who are profiting from using the tax only to have it destroy millions of lives. Then you have how long can we be complicit with murder around the world, and also with fraud, right? So the American people, like we know what's going on. And look, Sovereign Bruh, who I follow, he says, let me like this. I gotta like this. I'm telling you, I gotta like this. He says, I think it's time for a nationwide tax strike. Understand the situation we're in. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being stolen from the American people and used to fund all kind of fraud imaginable. It isn't just Minnesota. This is happening nationwide. We are literally funding the destruction of our country. Our government isn't going to stop. Only the people who hold power need to stop this. And again, you know, this is just one of those movements. I'm not sure how far it would go. I'm not sure what's really going on. I'm not sure if people are actually going to be held accountable. Many people are saying this is a crossroads for the Trump administration. Is there going to be any action? What exactly is going to happen with the tariffs? But people are literally sick and tired of all of this. You have Tom Emmer calling for legal action against Tim Walz and Keith Ellison. And again, I told you guys about the chance. Now, the betting markets are saying that Tim Walz and people around Tim Walz and other people will be arrested. Like, we have a whole bunch of people already arrested. We got 85 people arrested in connection to all of this. Are more people going to be arrested? Are those daycare centers going to be indicted? What exactly is going to happen? How much more fraud does actually exist in Minnesota? But here's where I say things take a huge turn. So just yesterday, I was looking at this video from a Columbus woman asking Nick Shirley to go to Ohio. Apparently, the fraud in Ohio is worse than you can imagine. Apparently, Ohio, it might be worse than California and Minnesota, right? And people are literally saying this. Cernovich, who I saw yesterday, he was talking about, I'm down the rabbit hole of Ohio child care centers in Columbus, Ohio, of the rabbit hole of Ohio child care centers in Columbus, Ohio, and it's worse than Minnesota. This stuff is actually everywhere. Right? And also, I saw this. Someone asked me to do Columbus, Ohio first. Guys, this is serious, right? And this is the Child Care LLC. These are the names, right? And it looks like they're doing it over there as well. Like, some of these names are connected to the child cares in Minnesota. And they happen to be Somalian as well. Yeah, that's not a good sign for things to come, ladies and gentlemen. And what should happen? But again, accountability is what we are, or a lot, I guess, millions of voters are looking for.
Nick Shirley, I hope you see this video. Please come to Columbus, Ohio. The reporting you did in Minnesota was amazing. Thank you for that. And if you come to Columbus, Ohio, you will find the exact same fraud. You will see the exact same things. Daycares everywhere. The home health care. I mentioned that in my video. I do not have your bravery to go out here and knock on doors like you did. I don't even want to leave my room right now. Okay? But you could come here and do what needs to be done. Please. Please investigate. Please talk to our government officials. And you see how the police escorted you out of that building? The Columbus police are on the same take, I am sure. Allegedly. Let me say allegedly before I got the Columbus police coming after me, as well as the Somalis. It's a lot. In the meantime, please come here and investigate. You will find the exact same things. And the rest of the country needs to know that it is real. Thank you for all you are doing. And please, please, please stay safe.
So it's happening in Ohio. It's happening everywhere. And it's again far worse than you can even come to realize. I just tested this personally, and it's completely true. calling Sweet Angel Childcare in Minnesota immediately connects you to Tim Walz's office. Uh-oh. Apparently there is a connection to Tim Walz in a childcare office that's actually doing fraud. And again, a lot of people are tired of hearing this. Like, they're not surprised by this. They're not surprised by any of these things being true.
So guys, this is absolutely mind-blowing. So I was watching the most recent video by Nick Shirley exposing these daycare centers. Now, they're going daycare to daycare, and the next one that they go to is called Sweet Angel Childcare. This is where they show up to. And this is the business right here. Sweet Angel Childcare in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, listen to where this phone number goes to when you call this childcare center. Just wait for it.
Thank you for contacting the office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. Our office is located at 130 State Capitol at 75 Reverend.
Oh my God. I'll do it again. Sweet Angel Childcare. It goes to Governor Tim Walz's office. Why is a child care center directly going to the office of the governor? Make it make sense.
Yeah, no, this you can't make it make sense. You can't make it make sense. What is going to happen? We already know people have been arrested. We already know people have been indicted. What else is going to come? Are the people like Ilhan, are people like Tim Walz actually going to be held accountable for this? That's what the American people want to know. That's what they want to know, ladies and gentlemen. See you guys on the next one.